One thing I really enjoy about the Wano arc is reading these chapters and watching these episodes makes me think about the early days of One Piece. And one chapter that gets very overlooked is chapter 154 because many amazing things happen in this chapter. First thing I gotta say is this: Gold D. Rogers' true name was revealed. Yeah, the real name of Goldie Rogers, the Pirate King, otherwise known as Gold Rogers, was revealed by a lady over the age of 100 years in Dr. Korea. And she realizes that Luffy shares that same initial D as Roger, and it's crazy because she didn't even know that he was going by Gold Roger. Definitely some amazing stuff in chapter 154. Then we see chapter 576 in Whitebeard. The title of the chapter is called Whitebeard, the Great Pirate Edward Newgate. But the thing is, it's pretty much highlighting Goldie Roger because it confirms by Dr. Korea's what she said. Goldie Roger in the flashback, 400 chapters later, he says he's mad about the world government hiding his initial D, and his true name is Goldie Roger. Whitebeard then, of course, asks, what does the Willie D mean? What does that initial D mean? Like, he mentions Marshall D. Teach as crew member, and like always wondering what it meant. And Roger tells him what it actually means, and it's a crazy moment because we see this is after Roger went to Laughtail and named the island and saw Joy Boy's treasure and wished he lived in Joy Boy's era. This is when he meets Whitebeard and tells Whitebeard the true history. And we go back to Marineford, and when Whitebeard is saying pretty much in the same chapter, it is not you who Roger is waiting for, and talks about inherited wills, the burden of centuries, and it's obviously inclining to Luffy, but says that many people have inherited that Willie D, but there's one person that Roger's waiting for, and it's not Marshall D. Teach. It's a very, very iconic chapter, in my personal opinion. And it's crazy because the title of the chapter is Whitebeard, but let's be honest here, it's heavily tied to Goldie Roger, and of course, what recently happened in the last chapter, Joy Boy. That's why I love the series. So many times you can reread the series and get ties to the newest chapter in One Piece. Joy Boy returned as Monkey D Luffy. Now, another thing that also was first mentioned in the chapter 154 by Dr. Korea, it's crazy how 2-3 pages can show mean so much more after reading 1,000 chapters of a series, and that's the Will of D. Ichiro Oda, you're a crazy man. He talks about the Will of D by Dr. Korea, of course, and says the Will of D lives on, and then it goes to a shot of Monkey D. Luffy goofing around, being a silly guy, a very silly guy. Like, Luffy is, of course, that Nika, of course, that's everyone saying now after the chapter. And he's under the moon. Like, it's crazy, the references to the sun, and it's mentioned by Usopp. Of course, we all know Usopp has legendary tales, so seeing Luffy under the moon recently with Joy Boy and the sun stuff, amazing stuff. One Piece chapter 154 will always be, in my personal opinion, one of my favorite chapters just because of that old lady Dr. Korea and what she said. Amazing stuff. Now, I do want to say this: in chapter 180, that's the next time that the initial D is highlighted by, of course, Nico Robin, who saves her future captain Monkey D. Luffy and asks Luffy, why do you fight? Like, why do you dudes with the initial D fight? Of course, she's referencing Jaguar D. Saul, someone that meant a lot to her, and Luffy's like, D, like, Luffy's acting very ignorant to the initial D. And then, of course, she gives Luffy his straw hat, and the reason why I'm hyped is because we all know that straw hat has ties to Goldie Roger, and of course M-sama with the whole stuff lately. Like, it's crazy how much hype these early chapters 154 and 180 bring back to actually relevant stuff after chapter 1000 and the 900s and stuff that we're learning. It's like crazy. The hype is real, in my personal opinion. Now, I do want to say this is the third time the initial D is mentioned in the One Piece story is chapter 301. And of course, the three connections, so cool to see, and it's by Gonfall, and Gonfall says Luffy got the same vibes as Roger, and of course Robin says, yeah, it's Monkey D Luffy, and Gonfall's like, what? D? He has the same initial as Roger too? That can't be a coincidence. And Robin replies, Luffy is destined to leave his mark on history. I talked about how chapter 1, Ichiro, the narrator, said that Luffy's embarking on a journey when it comes to destiny. Chapter 100, Monkey D. Dragon, code by Goldie Roger when it comes to inheriting wills and destiny and whatnot. And now we see in chapter 301, the third time the Will D is mentioned, the initial D is mentioned, Robin says Luffy is destined to leave his mark on history. Wow, wow, wow. I get chills seeing these moments because because chapter 1043, it's all about destiny. So it's scary how Ichiro in the first 300 chapters told us so much about how Luffy is the guy. I don't care what anybody says, Luffy is the guy, and you can't say nothing about it, because after 1000 chapters into the story, it is confirmed that Joy Boy has returned. It's time, the drums of liberation. And speaking of the drums of liberation, I know you guys all felt like this when, of course, chapter 1044 drops. We're gonna see a scene like this, guys. It's gonna be epic. Make sure you guys don't forget to turn on notification, guys. Of course, you guys been supporting the channel so well this last week. It's been amazing. I'm so thankful. Of course, we're trying to get to 91,000 subscribers. We just reached 90k, which we're so close to 100k, the goal. And we're trying to get 1,000 likes for this video. I've been seeing that you guys been liking the video, so let's try to get 1,000 likes. If I see 1,000 likes, that makes me want to do a double upload, because I actually have some too crazy theories and speculations that I want to drop, and they're actually tied to the latest chapter. So 1,000 likes, and I will drop those videos in the same day. So of course hit that bell, turn on notification. That's the most important thing when it comes to seeing future videos. I don't want you guys to miss videos because I'm dropping every day, so I don't want you guys to miss these bangers of videos that I'm uploading. Now, continuing the theme of this video, you guys all saw the title, Gear 5th, Sun Joy Boy Awakening, he beat Kaido. This is all relative to the chapter One Piece chapter 1043 and One Piece chapter 1044 and beyond. But I do want to say this, you can't go beyond unless looking back in the past. What I say in that chapter, that quote about how pretty much the legends endure the past, legends endure the future and endure in the past, or whatnot. You know what I'm talking about, from a distance past. I said it recently. Maybe I'm misquoting the quote, but I want to say this. Chapter 202, guys. The Void Sentry is first hinted at, and we see Nico Robin like pretty much laugh at Cobra when Cobra says that his family's been protecting the poneglyph. It's crazy because knowing how Alabasta technically is a part of the 20 celestial dragons that are hiding the actual history of the true world, and Cobra saying my family's protecting the poneglyph, and Robin laughs at him and pretty much says that like yo, what, like protecting what, like the true history, the true knowledge, like you guys ain't protecting nothing. So I gotta respect Robin's behavior in that moment with Cobra. And I do want to say this, chapter 218, Robin reveals to Cobra in a conversation, of course, is after the Alabasta arc, and it's a flashback, that she's looking for the real poneglyph. Robin also tells Cobra she's tired of living 20 years of looking for the true history, and she couldn't find nothing. This is the only thing she found. And Cobra is shook because he's like, what's going on? Like, Nika Robin has this guy contemplating his own entire life. It's crazy because in the Reverie, we know Cobra is a big topic. Do want to say this, Nika Robin in the next page says, my dream had too many obstacles. There was too many ops in Nico Robin's way, and Cobra realizes the Void Sentry and everything that's going on and thinks to himself, why we, like pretty much saying like he's contemplating what the Alabasta Kingdom is all about, the Reverie ties in the future. Of course, the chapter ends with then said Luffy saving Nika Robin, and it's crazy because Robin saved Luffy in chapter 202, and seeing Luffy save Robin there, the destiny thing is also amazing. Robin doing that action led to Luffy saving her in their journey of trying to get to Laugh-Tale and find the true history and find the Joy Boy's treasure of the One Piece. Man, oh man, Nika Robin and Luffy's connection and his lobby to now will always be strong because of the Alabasta arc. Now, of course, everyone's talking about the lurking legend. Like, everyone is talking about the lurking legend that Ichiro talked about in 2022 years ago. And, of course, the great enemy that's going to be for the Straw Hats. And when that happened, everyone was saying, oh, it's going to be maybe Shiki. Shiki's coming back. But, like, we just saw Shiki in a movie. It's obviously not Shiki. Then, of course, we all got people saying Rox D Zebek, because Rox D Zebek had so much hype back then, a couple of years ago, even a year ago, too. So, Rox was the hype that everyone was talking about. But I can't lie to you guys. The king of the man who wants to become king of the world and winning against the celestial dragons and his fellow Willow D, Gold D Roger, and Monkey D Garp, that man is not the lurking legend, because this chapter, like I said, it's confirming a lot of things from the past that we were speculating. Now we got confirmation. This chapter confirmed who the actual lurking legend is, and the lurking legend is not the great enemy. They're actually two entities, and the hype is even going on stronger. So you're probably wondering, what am I talking about? Well, the real lurking legend is Monkey D Luffy, because lurking in Monkey D Luffy was Joy Boy. And it's crazy because Kaido said, nah, you ain't Joy Boy either. And King was like, yeah, Kaido, I think you're Joy Boy. And Kaido's like, you really think I'm Joy Boy? And all that talk and speculation about Roxy Zebek and Kaido being under Roxy Zebek in his younger days. And he learned obviously some truths and some crazy histories about the world, probably, because the way Kaido talks about Joy Boy, like, obviously I think Rox is the first man to tell him about Joy Boy, because he's the only other character, he's one of the main characters to talk about Joy Boy that we've seen in this story of 1,000 chapters. So many characters. He's one of the few characters to talk about Joy Boy. Kaido's impact is insane. The fact that he has the highest bounty in the One Piece story that's currently alive. The fact that, of course, he called pirates like Goldie, Roger, and Whitebeard the only pirates with a higher bounty than him. Soft. The fact that he has the tutelage of Roxy Zebek. Like, it's crazy how this man Kaido is not Joy Boy, but it's actually Luffy. Luffy is the lurking legend, and so many things that just go to my head that why this chapter it caused so much amazingness. And that's why you see the thumbnail. I put he beat Kaido, because Joy Boy is about to beat Kaido to, like, back to Narnia, guys. Now, I do want to say this, just because I bring up chapters 100 and chapters 200 and chapters 300 and like those kind of chapters in the early days, I'm not going to be how to say it, one of those guys who just bring up old chapters and think, oh, I'm talking about some real stuff. No, I'll bring up some new chapters that recently happened and talk about that too, guys. We know chapter 1037, Luffy was battling Kaido, and then also in this chapter, the Gorosei is saying that Big Mom and Kaido battling in this war is perfect to get rid of a nuisance. Obviously, they're referencing Monkey D Luffy. And then, of course, Zunisha coming and speaking of a legend, pretty much. They talk about a legend for now, for even that hasn't awakened in centuries, that unique Delpho name, like the hidden true name from the annals of history. The Gorosei talking about that when they see that the island Zunisha pulled up. Obviously, they're referencing Monkey D Luffy because chapter 1043, we see Luffy go through a crazy Delpho evolution. Of course, chapter 1040, I have to talk about that. Zunisha is revealed to commit a serious crime 800 years ago. This is Joy Boy's comrade. So that's a very interesting plot line we saw over there. And then, of course, we have to talk about chapter 1041, that the Gorosei tell CP0 eliminate Straw Hat Luffy. Like, CP0 always has hype when it comes to the way they do things, but I'll be honest with you, CP0 in this arc wasn't looking as hype as they could be. But the fact they went out like that, and he talks about it's a battle of world-class nature, like Kaido and Luffy, I ain't trying to interrupt that. And then no, the Elder Stars are like, no, you have to interrupt that. This battle is a world-class nature, and this is why we have to take precaution, forcing CP0 to try to eliminate Straw Hat Luffy, which he did, but all you did was bring back the thing that they're scared of most, Joy Boy. So you guys all see the title and you're probably thinking, where am I going with this when it comes to this video? Where I'm going to be honest with you guys, Luffy's going to me is special, and it's looking crazier and crazier as the story goes on because of things like Who's Who was the one who was guarding, he was a part of Cyberfall, and he was guarding Luffy's Delpho ability, and Red Hair Shanks, a Yonko, is the one who stole that Delpho ability. And of course, it's the connection of Nika and Who's Who mentioning Nika and how that guard got disappeared, of talking about that to Jinbei, and talks about freeing the slaves, and we thought it was Fisher Tiger, but it was actually Monkey D Luffy that's being referenced. Obviously, Gear 5, obviously Awakening is going to be something we need that we have never seen before, and I believe it's actually mythical. I think a mythical fruit of a creature that was from 800 years ago that dominated the Void Century, and the ties are there. Many people think it's the Sun Wukong. I'm not going to put a name to it, but I think Monkey D is definitely a connection. The fact that his name is Monkey D, that has to have origins to the Void Century, and I feel like it's really going to put his name to good use. So I'll be honest with you, Gear 5th in chapter 1044 will break the internet, guys. It's going to be hype. I'm excited to see you guys' thoughts, but yeah. But like I said, One Piece is on fire, guys. And if you guys want more uploads, make sure you, of course, you hit that like button. I'm trying to get 1,000 likes for this video. 1,000 likes is the goal to get double upload tomorrow, guys. And turn on notification. That's how you don't miss future upload, guys. I want you guys don't to miss these uploads because there's a break, and I know you guys want some content. And I definitely want to say this: like and share if you enjoyed, like and share only if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more One Piece content. I'm the LegendMac, and I'm gone.